I just want to jump in over to you, Jaia. Like, have you seen much about attachment style? I know you actually did an interview, a relationship super conference on attachment style in non-monogamous relationships. Is there anything you want to pick up on in terms of attachment style in queer spaces or in consensual non-monogamy from the conversations you've been having with people?
Absolutely. So I think Jessica Fern has a really great book called Polysecure, which specializes in attachment styles in non-monogamy and also how to create secure attachment specifically in non-monogamous relationships. And I think that's, my main critique of this book is that it feels very hetero, cis, and mononormative. Mm-hmm. And I think attachment can show up in all different types of relationships as well. And it's more prominent in romantic relationships, but I know like my most secure relationship is with my best friend, for example. And I think that that's one of the things that I really love about non-monogamy, and that I definitely don't believe everyone shouldn't be non-monogamous, but I do believe that everyone can learn a lot from non-monogamous relationships, because like so much, when you're in multiple relationships, A, you have to be much better at communication. B, you have to have much more self-awareness to understand what's going on for you. And by being in multiple relationships, you get different things reflected to you from different people. And so it sort of fast tracks personal development within relationships, I find. And in the interview with Jessica, which I did for the Relationship Super Conference, we also talked about how you can have different attachment styles with different partners simultaneously. And I think that's really interesting to look at as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I watched your interview with Jessica, and one of the things that really overlapped, I think, with the book was this such importance of effective communication, particularly in non-monogamous relationships. And I wondered if you want to add anything on that, Jaia, or if Kat, you want to jump in with anything around that.
I mean, I think, whether we're looking at attachment or anything else, communication is always
everything.
So important in all types of relationships, and especially non-monogamy, because, there's this myth that non-monogamous people never experience jealousy. And that's not true. Some people, whether you're monogamous or non-monogamous, don't experience much jealousy. And some people do. I'm someone who does. But I treat jealousy the same way I treat any other difficult emotion. I process it, I acknowledge it, I take responsibility for it. I talk to my partners about it. I find out if there's any requests I need to make or boundaries I need to set to feel safe and secure. And then depending on how my partner or partners respond to that tells me about, a lot about that relationship. But it's not, I think communication is so vital in all different ways. And I think it's just one of many different tools that can be applied to attachment, to secure attachment specifically.
Is that something that you work on with your clients, Kat? And how do you sort of if somebody's not feeling very comfortable with this whole concept of effective communication, how might they start to get comfy with it, or override those tendencies, maybe want to hide away or go mute or anything like that? What do you kind of see and what do you say to them?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to talk you through an example, actually, because this happened with one of my clients of the guy that she's seeing. They're exclusive but not together, so it's still that kind of where exactly do we stand stage. And he was really busy at work, and they were meant to have plans, and he was like, I'm really tired, I'm not feeling well, I'm not going to come over tonight. And her first instinct was to like really lash out and be like, you don't care, you don't want to see me, I really wanted to see you. And actually she messaged me first, and we talked through it, and then thought about how could she actually communicate her needs and how important it was for her to see him and find a kind of compromise. So I would say it's baby steps. And if you're not sure about communication in a dating context, don't send any messages. What I always say to my clients, take a step back, allow your, hi London, allow your wave of emotions to come and go, and then come at it with a more logical mind, and perhaps talk to someone, whether that's just a good friend, get someone who's going to give you a sensible opinion and you can talk it through with and really craft the response from there. And then it's just something to practice. I think the thing with communication in relationships is it's super vulnerable. Your best friend, you trust them, they've been around for years, you know what you can say, what they can hold, them as a person. My sister always says, well, I can say what I like to you because I know you're always going to be there, within reason. We would have boundaries there. Whereas when you're dating, you don't quite know where you stand with someone, and it's super vulnerable. If you really like someone, it feels like there's a lot at stake, and it's really hard to communicate your needs. But when you can, I talk about what's called a vulnerability spiral. If you can get a little bit vulnerable, then it opens up that space. They can support you in that vulnerability. So you then feel safe to get more vulnerable, and then you can get deeper and deeper. And as you do, they will feel the same, and you get into that spiral. And you're going to feel more, trust and comfortable and safe. And that's going to allow you to be able to communicate your needs more and more and more. So little baby steps, you don't have to suddenly feel like you have to go all in, just opening up a little bit, let yourself be held, and keep going.
Does that kind of ring true with how you've been practicing effective communication? Is there anything, personal tips or anything you want to share about how you got comfy with it? Or were you always comfy with it?
Well, I love what Kat was saying about reaching out to a friend, because I know that I do that a lot with if I'm dating someone new and I'm noticing, like frustration or clinginess or whichever clinginess feels like it has some negative connotations to it. But if I'm noticing, whichever emotion's coming out, then I will do exactly what Kat just suggested. I will process with a friend first before then reaching out to the new person. And I think it's so true what Kat was talking about the difference between, long-term relationships where it's a friend that we've known for forever versus a brand new partner or someone we're dating and we're not sure where we stand. And that's applicable in non-monogamy as well. But the difference is in non-monogamy, you might also have a partner that you already have a secure relationship with and that you've been with for years. And then you might, be even able to process with them when you're meeting someone new. And then that depends on the different forms.